Welcome back to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Cataclysm Crew, issue 42, Honey and Vinegar. On the cover, Blue Samurai, Flyby, and the Wild Thing stand in a doorway at the top of a flight of stairs, silhouetted by the light coming through it. The basement below is dark, save for a candle on a table silhouetting the forms of Queen Bee and Scarlet Scorpion. Squire runs down the banister, her eyes glinting furiously in the firelight. We turn the page and our story begins.
I think Al's gonna open a portal just beneath the two of them, back up to a window that he can see, and if the GM would be so kind, have Lynx in whatever room Al portals into.
Lynx or Vixen?
Lynx.
Cool. So Lynx is standing on the second floor landing. So there's it's essentially a very large grand staircase that splits off and goes around. So there's just a big opening in the middle of the second floor. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? So Lynx is on that second floor landing, and Carla has just gone in one of those doors. So you portal into the second floor and land near her.
Al's gonna look at her. Lena.
And she turns and she's like, "What?"
I don't trust you. You work for Saber, but I need you to put your phone number in my phone and be ready to call Saber to Trader Maria Italian restaurant.
She looks at you and she's like, Trattoria Miele?
Yeah, that's the one. I'm Japanese, not Italian. Cut me a little slack.
And she looks at you and she's like, "What did you all do to Queen Bee?"
Nothing. The last time I've never even spoken with her. The last time any of us spoke with her was Amber, and she helped us, so I don't know what we did. And
she sighs and she takes your phone and she puts her number in. She's like, "If Saber gets involved, you know that they're going to arrest every one of you, right?"
Yeah, but Saber might be the only people who can help us.
Underneath of the hair, there's a little smile.
I love that. Lynx sighs and she's like, "I don't think Saber can help you much, but if you call, I'll get you out of there, I promise."
Thank you. And I think Al's gonna stick out a hand to shake and not just kind of awkwardly do it.
She shakes your hand, and as that's happening, the door swings open dramatically behind her, and you see Vixen in her full costume. Vixen is basically just Catwoman, but if Catwoman was Fox themed. When she's in costume, she wears a pretty tight long dress, red dress, with a slit running from the bottom of it up to about mid-thigh. I think Angelina Jolie at the Oscars that one year. And high heels and a lot of jewelry and a domino mask. She's in no way hiding who she is. Everyone knows that Vixen is Carla Montego, is Vixen. But she looks great. And she strolls past you and she's like, "All right, let's go."
I think Al's gonna sigh and just mutter to himself, just fucking Lucy.
And I think the next panel we see is from right in front of Carla, with Al and Wild Thing in the background, and we just see this smirk across her face. And then she turns the corner and is walking down the stairs towards Lucy and Squire. Al and Wild Thing, are you following?
Let's go kick some ass.
She looks at you as you're walking down the stairs behind her, and she's like, "Al, can your portals open big enough to drive a car through?"
With a minor headache, yeah.
She says, "Good, I'll drive." And then she we step into her garage, which is this beautiful large 8-car garage, and we see this sleek red sports car, and she opens it and gets in the driver's seat, and she's like, "All right, everyone, get in."
Shotgun.
Know it.
I don't care.
Is Vixen's Fox with us?
I think Fox is probably with you. Yeah, Vixen doesn't go any places without Fox.
Yes.
Yeah, so Vixen doesn't go too many places without Fox.
Good. I think could we have a panel of just Al petting Fox and Squire at the same time, just up front?
Absolutely. And then I think the next panel we see is you all drive through, and she's like, "All right, portal me as far down this block as you can go. We're gonna make a right up there."
I do have a request because I think it's kind of comical that Flyby and Wild Thing are just sitting in the back seat together and they don't know each other. I feel maybe the Wild Thing kind of looks at Flyby and is like, "Wow, these guys are crazy."
You'll get used to it.
I love that. That's so good.
I also have another moment. Is I feel like when Lucy got her new costume, we established that she has just like pockets everywhere and also different pouches. After I don't know, have we gone through the portal with the car yet?
We're about to.
Okay, I have a thing I want to do after we get through the portal on the other side.
Perfect. So we portal over and we see like it's probably like a couple like jumping portals where it's like you jump through a portal to the intersection and then she's like, all right, portal to that one, portal to that one, portal to that one. And it's a lot of that kind of thing of just like jumping. So you portal and then she like slams on her brakes and we open up in front of this like it looks like a it's a standalone house. There's 2 stories that you can see and there's a sign that says like La Trattoria Miele. And she pulls up and parks it. And she's like, all right, everyone, out.
As Lucy gets out of the car, I think she wants to reach into one of her little pockets and toss a couple painkillers at Al.
Lucy's such a good friend.
She's pissed, but she's still the mom friend.
That's true. And we see the 4 of you from the back. So we see like the 4 of you standing on the sidewalk with the La Trattoria Miele kind of like in front of you. There are candles in every window and they're all lit. And it's a really great like shot of the 4 of you plus the 2 animals standing very heroically. Then Vixen walks up and like just twists the doorknob and opens it, and the door is unlocked.
Can Al kind of run past her to like, is there like any drinking fountains or any water nearby?
There's a fountain.
Al's gonna sprint past Vixen and kind of just dunk his head underwater, and then you'll see a panel of him bringing his hand to his mouth, and then looking at Vixen and be like, sorry, I can't dry swallow pills.
Amazing.
When he pops his head back up from the fountain, I want Lucy just to be holding a mini bottle of water and just say, you can ask.
Lucy's such the mom friend.
Wow, you have everything.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
By the end of this issue, Al is going to be searching through those pockets to see what exists and what doesn't.
Her child locks on them.
Guys, okay, honestly, I think that Clara was really impressed by Flyby just like having all of those things just ready. I feel like she needs to be my new rival.
All right, shift it. Shift her to the rival.
So it kind of like, this is like, the rival is like somebody who I feel like a little bit inferior around. So what that does, Lucy, is it gives you influence over me. And that's, yeah. Give the new subject of your affection. You get technically disdain influence over you. Take a +1 ongoing to any action that impresses your love or frustrates you. Yeah, okay.
Awesome. All right. And Vixen turns and is like, if everyone's ready, we already opened the door so they know we're here. Can we go inside, please?
Could we just have a panel of Al vanishing through a portal and then just waving at them from the other side of the glass?
Awesome. As you do that, you hear a gun cock. And you look over, and there's an armed guard with a gun pointed right at you.
George!
I want to roll to throw one of my little portal shurikens at him.
Cool. So go ahead and roll to directly engage a threat. That'll be plus danger.
I got a 4.
All right. You throw the portal, and you're like throwing the knife, right?
Yeah, throwing a knife to throw a portal basically at him, yeah.
The guard, like, as you're about to throw it, like presses a button on his collar. It's like a pin on his collar, and he presses it. And as the knife comes through, you see like the portal like opening and closing as it's spinning. And then when it gets close to him, the portals just stop. And he reaches out and with 2 fingers just catches the knife in midair. And he drops it. And he's like, the boss has been waiting for you. We figured you'd be here sooner rather than later. If you want to get the rest of your friends inside, we can have a conversation like civilized people. I don't want to have to use this thing. And he is an adult, so he is shifting your danger down and your mundane up.
Well, that's kind of a dick move, so fuck him.
So are you going to reject it, or are you just accepting it?
Well, I have a -2 to rejection, so no, I'm going to just fucking accept it, I guess.
Cool. And Vixen steps through the door behind you with her hands up, and she's like, we're not here to fight. We just want to get our people back. Lucy/Wild Thing, you heading in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to fight, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna hold my breath.
Al is gonna, not like at anybody in general, just be like, if he was trying to be civil, he wouldn't have fucking pointed a gun at me and cocked it, but whatever.
He like claps you on the back of the shoulders as he like is guiding you all towards the stairs, and he's like, "Yeah, if you wanted to be civil, you wouldn't have broken and entered into a place of business at 11:30 at night, now would you?"
It's not breaking and entering if the door's unlocked. That's what my first parole officer told me.
He laughs and he opens a door, and it like leads to like a very dark staircase heading downstairs. Are you all heading downstairs? Are you hanging out here?
I mean, I feel like we don't have a choice.
There's always a choice, but yeah, I think we follow. Or at least I'm.
Cool. He stays at the top and he like gestures for all of you to go down. So what's our order? Who leads?
Well, me, of course.
Sorry, Al's first. I think Vixen's probably second.
I'll hold up the rear.
Cool.
Keep
I
an
was
eye on
gonna
the
say
sky.
I agree.
All right, and everyone steps down the stairs. And as you all get down the stairs, you turn and you see two people sitting at the table. The first one is Queen Bee, and the second one sitting right next to her is the Scarlet Scorpion, aka Amber and Al's mom.
Hi, Mom.
And she looks and she says, "Well, hi, honey. It's good to see you. You're looking well."
And Amber beat the shit out of her, I guess?
I don't know if you knew that.
But does she look like it?
Her hair is definitely messier than usual, but like she's not beaten up. She got very, very electrocuted, but she wasn't like Amber didn't like punch her in the face.
Okay. I think I would be like, thanks. Where are my friends?
And she gestures over, and you can see behind her in like a really dark corner. It looks like Max, Amber, and Alan are just standing there, like swaying and not moving. They're not tied up or anything. They're just standing there.
Well, I sure as shit don't like that.
And Queen Bee stands up, and Queen Bee's like, "If you all would take a seat," and she gestures, and like the table's pretty large. It's got like 9 chairs around it, or 8 chairs around it, so it can fit everyone. Is everyone taking a seat?
Al's more of a stand kind of guy. And I think in every situation where he's ever been around villains so far, he's done the exact opposite of whatever they tell him to do. Like with the Time Wizard.
You know, that's fair. As everyone kind of steps in the room, what about Lucy and Clara? Are you all going to take a seat?
Reluctantly.
I'm not feeling the whole sitting thing, so I think I'll also stand. If it isn't gonna, maybe we all stand together. You know.
Vixen goes and sits.
Yeah, but Vixen's kind of a villain, so like I think Al's just gonna kind of stand. He'll stand behind a chair.
Vixen's not kind of a villain. Vixen is just a villain.
Are the chairs tall enough where I could like lean on forward with my forearm, so like I'm technically touching a chair, but I'm not sitting?
Yep, the chairs are all tall enough.
Cool, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, so I'm definitely doing that. I'm going to retract my sitting, but I'm definitely going to be like leaning on a chair.
Yeah. I'll do that too. That's a good idea.
Al, are you doing the same thing, or are you just standing?
I think Al's just kind of standing with his arms loosely folded.
Vixen sits down and then looks at all three of you and rolls her eyes and like sighs a little bit. And then she looks at Queen Bee and Scarlet Scorpion and she's like, "So, what is it you want?" And Queen Bee's like, No. Let's get to business afterwards. Let's have a nice dinner. We all know that this is the best Italian restaurant in the city, and the chefs are close personal friends of mine. So if everyone would like to have a seat, dinner can begin." And she gestures at the three of you, and she's like, very clearly like, "You should sit down now."
We had pizza before we came.
I think Al was gonna sit, but he's gonna like sit on the edge of the seat and just kind of still have his arms folded.
And Scarlet Scorpion looks up at Lucy and she's like, "You're the other one who was there that night. I don't think we've met yet. Hi, I'm Scarlet Scorpion.
Pleasure.
I'm Al and Amber's mom."
Hey, quick question out of character. Did I know that?
I don't think so.
So she's definitely taken aback by that, and any sort of like facade of snark is gone, and she just looks at Al like, seriously?
And you would know Scarlet Scorpion. Scarlet Scorpion has been in prison for about 12 years. She is a very well-known and very feared villain. Her whole thing is she's got like a really intense emotional control, and it's pretty brutal. She was in like the highest security Saber prison, and records about her were wiped, but you know who she is, so. And then she looks up and she says, "And I believe you're the Wild Thing, correct? I didn't know you were part of this sordid affair.
We're still figuring things out.
She looks at you and she smiles and she's like, ugh, I understand. Finding a good team is so hard nowadays, but I think you found a really good one with this group. And then she like snaps her fingers and a chef comes out and he is doing the same kind of like slow moving swaying thing. And he has like a tray on his hand and he puts it on the table and it's got like 8 or 9 plates of like really beautiful looking Italian pasta. And he like places one in front of each of you. And if you look at his eyes are clear. Or, like his eyes are the normal color, but there's a just slight red fog across the front of them.
I think Al is gonna whisper, like, as he walks by Al, he's gonna go, "Kumquat," and then like look really intensely to see if it snaps the chef out of it.
It did not snap the chef out of it.
Damn, that's my only idea.
Scarlet Scorpion and Queen Bee are both pouring glasses of wine. Or a different chef comes out, or sommelier comes out, and is pouring glasses of wine for. He goes to Queen Bee and Scarlet Scorpion and Vixen, and then he starts to pour a glass for Al, and Scarlet Scorpion snaps her fingers, and she's like, oh no, the rest of them are underage.
I was just kind of like glare at the table a little bit, like not at his mother, obviously, but just down.
And she's like, you can drink when you're 21, dear. Only 4 more years, right?
I mean, yeah, let's go with that.
Isn't Al 17?
Yeah. He's saying more like, yeah, like I've not had anything to drink yet.
And she smiles and she's like, well, that would be breaking the law, and we would never want to do that, would we, Al?
No, mommy.
Lucy snorts a little bit at that exchange.
So does Clara.
Queen Bee kind of straightens up and she's like, so, I'm sure you're all wondering why we brought you here.
An explanation would be nice, yeah?
Yeah, Lucy's not dignifying that with a response. She's just staring at her, waiting to continue to talk.
She looks at you and she smiles, and like Queen Bee looks genuinely pretty friendly right now, and she's like, so in the months that have passed since the breakout, we've been gathering an assortment of people together. You probably haven't heard much about it. We haven't done too much yet, but the Crown of Thorns is rising, and we're ready to take down everyone that stands in our way. And we have a common enemy. We both don't like Saber. Granted, you also have a friend of mine, or a friend of yours that is an enemy of mine, but we'll handle that when we get there. I know that you all have been plotting a dramatic takedown of the institution that is Saber. And I just thought we would offer a truce, work together to take down the biggest enemy, and afterwards we'll see where we can land on it. Can I get Clara's reaction panel to this?
Well, it seems like Clara and Flyby are having another moment. Maybe they both look at each other like, did you know this?
Yeah, because did that plan unfold while I was gone?
Yeah, it's definitely been one where it was like, we don't like Saber, but like, they haven't been actively planning, but it's been like a back pocket kind of thing, especially for Max, of like, we're going to take down Saber at some point. Max and Amber. We're going to take down Saber at some point. So, yeah. Amber has talked about it pretty publicly. I think Max has talked about it privately. Yeah, Amber's whole new legacy is anti-Saber. It's all about like taking down Saber. But I don't think the two of you knew that.
Yeah, okay, wait. I do have a out-of-character question, which is I need a little lore refresher. So what is the relationship between Saber and the organization that I work for?
Mutually beneficial, but not like friends. It's very much like Saber is the government organization, and Monarch Power is kind of the private institution, and they do a lot of the same work, especially Monarch Man versus Saber. S.H.I.E.L.D. and the X-Men is a good example. S.H.I.E.L.D. is the Saber organization, and X-Men is the like private institution, but just Monarch Man is corrupt. But so is Saber. So, who's not corrupt in this world?
What adult, They're all, what's the rule? Short-sighted and something.
Yep, exactly.
I think if you're looking for a reaction, I really think it would just, because I'm imagining that we're all next to each other, and Al is occupied looking at the table. So I think I would look at Flyby to see if she seems to know what's going on.
She probably does not.
Flyby, do you react, knowing that your team has apparently been plotting to take down Saber in the 2 months that you've been gone?
She's pissed, but this is a moment where we're not going to die on this hill right now because we have to get our friends back first so I can kick some sense into them.
Fair. And Queen Bee looks at Vixen and she's like, Carla, I wasn't expecting to see you here, and I know that you can't get involved, seeing as you are involved otherwise. But we'll keep the code of ethics, and I won't say that you were here, you don't say that you were here, it'll be fine. I'm more interested in talking to these kids to see about a team up. And then she turns and she looks, and I think actually Scarlet Scorpion looks over and looks at Al, and she's like, Al, you're being pretty quiet. What are you thinking?
What exactly do you mean by getting rid of Saber? Like, are you going to kill them or just destroy their organization?
Scarlet Scorpion kind of shrugs, and she's like, path of least resistance, whatever's easier.
What about, like, Dad and Max's uncle?
She smirks, and she's like, your father doesn't work for Saber that often, and we are collaborating. And then Queen Bee says, I mean, how do you think we found out about where your base was? Al, I think I want you to take a powerful blow for that.
Let me grab the skiddly doos.
So that's roll plus conditions marked.
Oh, well, that's rude. I only have one of those, though.
All right, so on a 7 to 9, you can choose one. You lash out verbally and provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence to inflict a condition. You give ground, your opposition gets an opportunity, or you struggle past the pain and mark 2 conditions.
I would give ground.
Cool. And I think Scarlet Scorpion sees that comment kind of hurt, and then she's like, look, we want to work with you all. We think you all are amazing, but we don't need everyone. So let's put it this way. The sooner you agree, the less people get hurt. And she snaps her fingers, and Alan steps forward. And Alan is in like that same like trance-like swang state. And she turns to a man with a gun, and she's like, I'm setting a timer for 30 seconds. If they don't agree, shoot him. And then she's like, all right, your move.
Can I roll to put a portal in the barrel of the gun and have the bullet will just go through the portal and then through the ceiling, I guess? Yeah, and let's see if that works, I guess.
All right, so that is your plan. We'll see if that activates in about 30 seconds. Wild Thing or Lucy, are you, either of you, Vixen immediately is like, turns to you all and is like, just agree with it, just go with it. You don't want anyone to get hurt.
Aren't people gonna get hurt if we say yes?
She looks at you and she's like, it's Saber. Just Saber is different than people. It's all very complicated. Do you want Alan to die?
Your wife is Saber.
Fiance, but regardless. And then she's like, and she's not really, she and Max had a conversation earlier tonight where she said she would help us if we want to take down Saber because Saber is falling apart and she doesn't agree with it. We have to take them down, and we were going to be doing it anyway. Max was going to be talking to you all, but this is just speeding the process up a little bit.
I think Lucy and Clara need to join in on this conversation.
Vixen looks at Lucy and she's like, I know that you don't want to hurt anyone, and I don't either, but look, it's Alan. He's been awake for like 4 hours. Just help him.
I think with as little emotion on her face as possible, she looks Scarlet Scorpion in the eye and just says, fine.
She smiles and she's like, well, good. Then we can all enjoy our dinner. And she snaps her fingers and the 3 of your friends just kind of collapse. And then as everyone's reacting, she's like, don't worry, they're fine. Just takes a lot out of them. But thank you for having some sense. I wish that my son would be as intelligent next time. And she is shifting your danger up, Al, and your, I think, superior down.
But I like my superior.
Do you want to reject?
No, because I still have insecure.
Okay, then you'll take that down. And then an alarm goes off on her phone and she sighs and she's like, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut this dinner short. You all stay, enjoy, but I have other business to attend to. And then she stands up and starts to walk out the door. And she turns back and she says, good night, everyone. Good night, Al. Sweet dreams. And then she walks up the stairs and closes the door behind her. Queen Bee looks at all of you and is like, I'm sorry we had to do it that way, but I hope you understand that we're doing what is right. We're doing what is best. And we want what is best for the city. When the Asterons were attacking, the MMM went and robbed a bunch of places and committed crimes instead of helping with the invasion. That's not who the Crown of Thorns is. The Crown of Thorns is here for Moon Harbor first. We want the city to be as good as it can be. And if that means we have to get rid of everyone standing in our way, we will. And then she also stands up and she leaves. So now it's just all of you and like a couple unconscious guards and your unconscious friends. What do you do?
Can we go over to our 3 unconscious friends, or is there anything preventing us from doing that?
You're good to go over there. No one's preventing you.
Yeah, I want to go check on them.
Cool. They are all conscious, or not conscious. They are all like heartbeats, breathing. Everyone is fine. They are just unconscious.
You know the like prone position you're supposed to put people in when they pass out? I want to put them all in that position.
Perfect. And I think we see Vixen like pulling out her phone and she like calls someone and she like steps over to the corner and we hear her like whispering into the phone, which leaves Al and Clara at the table.
So that was my mother.
Lucy calls over from the other side of the room. Sweet lady.
She's really nice when she's not being a villain. She was a good mom for first few years when she wasn't in jail.
I don't know if that was the right thing to do.
I agree.
I mean, I had a plan, but there was no way to tell you about my plan without my plan not working.
Is there anyone who could overhear us in this room, or do we have any sense that this room might be bugged?
The room might be bugged. I don't know. Or you don't know, rather. The only other people in the room, there is the unconscious chef, an unconscious sommelier, and 2 unconscious guards.
Okay, Lucy is gonna look at the 2 of them significantly and say, let's talk more when we get back to the base. Oh right, I do have super senses. That's a good point. I forgot about that.
Do you want to roll to unleash your powers to see if anyone is listening? If there's a biggest threat in this room?
Yeah, I should probably do that.
Actually, go ahead and roll to assess the situation. Roll plus superior.
Okay, I think I have a move for that.
Cool.
Yeah, I think after the last session, I took another advancement and I took a move from the Protege playbook, which is be mindful of your surroundings when you assess the situation before entering up or not entering into a fight. Never mind. Ignore that. Plus superior, you said?
Yep.
That's a sweet 11.
So on an 11, you can ask 2.
What here is the biggest threat?
The biggest threat just went upstairs. The people in the room are unconscious, but like Scarlet Scorpion is still definitely like around. You haven't heard her like leave the building, so she is definitely the biggest threat wherever she is.
Okay, and what here can I use to determine whether or not we're being overheard?
When you extend your senses out, you can tell that there is in fact a bug in this room. You can hear like the slightest electrical hum from a small camera.
Okay, then I'm going to maintain what I said earlier, where I'm going to give them a significant look and say, we should discuss this further when we get back to the base.
And Vixen looks at everyone and she's like, do we think we can get them in the car? I can drive us all back, but I can't carry them all on my own.
I will carry them all on my own.
All right, so Wild Thing, tell me what that looks like.
It looks kind of like this like skinny little girl walking up to a 3 unconscious people. And then like she sort of like nudges one of them to like make they're unconscious because she doesn't want to like, if they're not unconscious, it would be a little jarring. And they are. And then we get that same panel that I think I've talked about it before, where it zooms in on the cells inside of her arms. And you just see them like suddenly multiply. And then when it zooms out, she's now like completely buffed out, like almost like a foot taller. And then she bends down and her arms get longer so that she can pick up all 3 of them. And then she turns and starts to walk toward the door, like slowly, so that she doesn't drop them.
Perfect. Lucy, what does your face look like when this happens?
I think it's a mix of impressed and hell yeah.
And I think also just to like be a little extra sensitive, like you can maybe see like her forearms kind of almost like flatten out a little bit and get like almost as if like she's like widening them to make them into kind of like a cot type of situation. It's kind of bizarre looking.
I was just imagining you got really, really hairy and it was like a pillow of hair.
Oh my god. So we see Wild Thing start to walk up the stairs. And Vixen like steps in front of her and is like, I'll go up first in case there's, I don't know, an ambush or something. And then she's like, I'll be ready with the portal. As soon as I open the door, if we need to jump outside, be ready.
And there's like a little thought bubble where Claire's like, God, I wish we'd have an ambush. She really wants to fight.
Excellent. And then we open the door. There is not an ambush, unfortunately. I'm so sorry. And we like walk through the restaurant. It's completely empty. There's no one in there. And we step outside, put them in the car, and I think we start to drive off. Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets, TP Huth, and Elliot Peterson, and edited by Anthony Sheets and Sean Geddes. Anthony can be found on Twitter at IcyNewYear or at icynewyear.com. T is a theater artist and educator in the DC area. She can be found at thuth playwright on Twitter or tphuth94 on Instagram. Elliot can be found at Elliot Elen, ELLIOTYLEN on Twitter. Sean can be found at The Crumpit, THECRUMPIT on Twitter. Moon Harbor Heroes is played using Masks: A New Generation, written by Brendan Conway and produced by Magpie Games. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or on Patreon at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Mistake the Getaway by Kevin MacLeod. This issue is GM'd by T. Huth. Blue Samurai is played by William Hendry. You can find him on Twitter at RockoutWill or on Steam as Cypress_Grunham. CYPRUS_GRUNUMN. The Wild Thing is played by Rose Hahn. Rose is an actor, content creator, and mental health advocate. Her podcast, What Was I Saying? Living with ADHD, can be found on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play Music, or on Twitter at what_was-I-saying. She can be found on Twitter or Instagram at SmileyRosie, SmileyRoseYYY. Flyby is played by Jane Berry. You can find her at Jane-Tarzan on Twitter. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice or tell a friend. 5-star reviews and word of mouth are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out at patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus issues each month. And thank you for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.